Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of the Phone Flipping Show. Today, guys, we're going to be talking a little bit about how to optimize online listings to create faster sales for yourself. I can't remember. Are we on Facebook and? Oh, nope, just YouTube today. Whoopsie. Oh well. With that being said, guys, so that's going to be our topic for today. I do want to kickstart everything a little bit, though, by kind of introducing who we are for those that may not know who we are. My name is Chris Schroeder. I've been flipping phones and electronics for 8 or 9 years now. I can't remember. It's been a while. And this is Matt Shirley, my co-host on the Smart Flip as well. He is also the founder of Console Kings, where he helps people basically learn how to flip, gaming consoles and things like that. Very lucrative business, by the way.
Yes, indeed.
Before we dive into today's topic, I want to share some resources with you guys. Number one, we have my ebook. It's called Tech Flips to Profit. Well over 1,000 copies sold at this point. This is basically to help any beginners that might want to start in this business. Basically just help them get started. It's $4.95 if you want the PDF version that comes with links and bonuses and things like that. You can find that below here on the YouTube channel. And if you want it for free, you can go to episode 11 of the Smart Flip podcast and get it for free in audio version only. All right. Second, we are offering the Mercury Electronics price list. For those that want the price list, make sure to just type price list in the comments below. I'll send it over to you if you don't see it in the description first. This basically helps you find what we are paying for certain devices. The price sheet itself is run by Aaron Goldstein. He's the one that takes the orders and things like that. But the great thing about having a price sheet is you can use it to figure out exactly what you'll profit off of almost every single item when it comes to phones, MacBooks, iPads, and items like that. Lastly, we always want you guys to see some wins in real time. Like, we want to show you what's happening in the marketplace and share some of the wins that our students have had over the past week. So let me pull up Slack here real quick and share with you guys what's been going on in the Slack group. So for those of you who don't know, Slack is our community of resellers, high-level resellers at this point as well, where they post all of their wins in this channel. They get help in this channel. They can contact us directly in this channel. They can do lots of things in this channel. All right, so with that being said, first one we have here is Bryce. Bryce has a ton of orders going out. I think 22 orders. He sent this at 7:09 p.m. last night. He has 22 orders going out on eBay. 22. That's wild. Wow. Then we got, there's me with my new shirt, my Webuy, my new company. Then we got Kevin, who got 5 pieces that day. Spencer over here, no product wins, but took the day off to celebrate her birthday. He still answered his calls from Google, though. Closed 3 for 3 for meetup, so that would be today, actually. So it's pretty awesome. We got Gabriel here with his new white background stuff. We got Kevin Price again with some more deals. And then, as you guys can see, like, here are just deals and deals upon deals. Like this right here was a crazy deal. I think he said he's going to make like $2,500. He paid $900 for both of them. What did he say at the end of this? Oh yeah, this was a $2,500 profit day, bro. You don't get many days like that.
Nice.
Got Alex Ross here making money, and then this just goes on forever and ever. This stuff happens every single day. The students are just winning on a daily basis at this point. It's hard to deny it. I have so many win photos at this point. It's absolutely insane. So we want to show you guys that just simply because we want to show you guys what's happening in the market, what's going on with this stuff. This stuff works,
Yes.
And that's what we wanted to do. So with that being said, let's dive into today's topic. So this is something Matt is very well versed in. He's incredibly good at this. I would say, I'd probably say I'm medium. I kind of force it, but
You do what you gotta.
I have, with that being said, I have kind of moved over to a little bit of what Matt says to do. And that's what you have to do when there's really smart people in your community, right? So when it comes to optimizing online listings, so let's talk about that. What does that even mean, right? So when it comes, you know what, Matt? I want you to take the lead on this. You're a little bit better at this than I am. I just kind of, my whole thing is like what the heck is my saying? I forgot my saying. I can't remember what I say.
Under promise, over deliver.
That's right. That's what it is. That's what I say all the time. Yes. Under promise and over deliver. That's kind of my motto. That's why I take a lot of photos and stuff at Starbucks and things like that. Yeah. However, I have built a light box now. It took me about 20 minutes with a box and some white paper.
So nice.
I can confidently say my sales are a little bit higher and a little bit faster. So
okay.
Yeah. So let's talk about it, dude. What do you do? What do you personally do to optimize listings of items that don't tend to sell super fast? Because I know you sent me a photo the other day of a Valve Index headset that sold for like $50 over what they were averaging. So let's dive into that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, what a lot of people don't realize is when you're shooting photos and you're listing product, what you're trying to do is ultimately eradicate as much doubt as possible. I don't think there's any better compliment people can pay a person than to open their wallet and say, here's some money because I trust you this much. Let me pay you for this. And I'm trying to create that experience as often as I can, as fast as I can. So what I want to do on eBay is I want to list images and items that build that trust as quickly as possible. Or another way you could say that is eradicate doubt as quickly as possible. And so I like to take photos that tell the best story right from the jump. And I'll show you guys everything that I'm talking about here in a second. I'll share my screen. I like to take photos that the very first photo says as much about my product as it possibly can. And then beyond that, I also want to take thorough photos that show it from multiple angles so people can see it in its entirety. I might post video even if I'm having a little bit of struggle with the sale. And then I'm also going to take photos of anything that's blemished, right? Is there a crack? Is there a deep scratch? Is there a dink or a chip on the corner? Because people will look at dinks and chips different. Chris, you know what I'm talking about here when it comes to phones. Like if something's deeply scratched, if something is chipped, and something's just dinged, those are all different, and they're all perceived different. Just ask a direct buyer of any kind.
Yeah, for sure.
And so just be really aware that when you are listing your item, to whoever is listening this and needs to hear this, you also want to reiterate any issues with the item within your description. It may even serve you better to do that in the title, in the description, and in the photos. But visually and verbally, you want those things to be consistent and the same. Because what you don't want is something to go out the door, somebody gets an item and goes, well, I didn't know about this. And then they hit you with an item not as described. We call it INAD on eBay. And you get a return or a refund or both, right? And these are the things that create frustrations for people. So the first thing I want you as a reseller is to not have any frustrations with the items that you're selling. But also, most people want to sell their stuff quickly and for as much as possible. And let's be real, you're just not going to do that unless you're doing the most. Like, so what I say to people, what I say to my group, students that I coach is be a pro. Like, what's the best way to be a pro? Take professional images, use good lighting, take images of your stuff from multiple angles. And then when you post it, it's going to pop off. Let me go ahead and present a little bit here, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about.
Go for it.
Yeah. Well, I'll just share my entire screen. Okay, guys. So share my screen here, and let's go over to eBay. All right. So So just looking here at eBay, I'll zoom in on some of my images so you guys can see. Okay, like this, I bought this. This is a Nintendo Wii U actually. I bought this with the console for $30 about a week ago, like Wednesday a week ago, and I listed it 2 days later, and this item sold for 85 bucks. And you can see this buyer's already left positive feedback as of today. Said it was really well packaged. But let's click on this item real fast. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. Notice how this item.
Oh, I think it might have shared a different tab or opened in another tab.
Oops, hold on a second. Let me fix this, guys. Here, I'll share the eBay tab. There we go. Okay. So this is the item I'm talking about right here. All right, you can see that this photo right here, I've got everything laid out, everything separated. It's easy to identify. It's neat. This is just the first photo. If imagine you're scrolling, put yourself in the customer seat, in the customer experience seat here. Imagine this stuff is, you're scrolling, you're looking for the right item. You see an item, it's powered on. It shows you the power source. It's neat, it's tidy, it's well lit, and you can easily distinguish every single component that comes with it. This visually should answer every question you have about wanting to buy this thing, right? It's got the stylus, the charging dock, the power adapter, and it powers on, and it looks clean. Would I want to buy this? Yes. Yes, I would want to buy this. And if you go through the images, you can see here that, I'm selling it. Like I'm taking pictures of it from multiple angles so you can see like all the different things about it.
And you do videos a lot on your stuff, right?
It depends. I do videos when an item's not selling. But my photos, have been doing great. Here's some Valve Index controllers. Okay, again, both controllers, 2 cables, nice and tidy. They're not just thrown out there like spaghetti noodles. And you can see like I've taken pictures of them from multiple angles, right? Front and reverse. So people shouldn't have a lot of questions about this stuff. Oh, and the wrist straps. I said the wrist straps were included. My title tells you everything you're getting. Valve Index, left-right pair controllers with USB-C cables and wrist straps. And this may not seem like a big deal, but the fact that some people have the wrist straps and don't mention them is just one selling point. You guys ever noticed that when you go to buy something, like people will use all the adjectives they can to describe it to kind of optimize everything that you're getting when you buy something retail. And I noticed this when I started selling on eBay, and I was like, I need to be including everything that people are getting in the description, in the photos, and in the title, as much as 80 characters that I can squeeze into the title.
I agree to that. I agree with that 100%. If it doesn't come with a charger, put it in the title.
Right. Yeah. Like, let's look at this. Here's the Valve Index that Chris was talking about. Again, you can easily distinguish every component. So Valve Index VR headset only with all cables, Kiwi USB fan, and VR pulleys. Here's the VR pulleys over here. Here's the USB fan. Here's the face gasket. Here's the data cable, right? And here's even like the actual guide, the manual, right? And so if you were to go to the description on this item, let's check it out real quick. I'll go down to the description real quick, the item. Okay, so I'll walk you through it. The items you're buying. And then you go down here, and this is my favorite part. Again, I don't accept returns, so no returns. Okay, and I've already got a good review on this as well. Okay, but here you go. Here's everything that it includes. Look at all that good stuff: headset, data cable, tri-cable, power adapter, face gasket, fan, pulley system, setup guide. Like, oh man, look at me, I'm getting the kitchen sink. Okay, so anyways, saying all that to help people be aware that you've got to sell it. You've got to tell everybody everything they're getting. Be concise, be a pro, be thorough, be in the details, and then don't be surprised when your stuff sells for more than somebody else's. If you're looking at this guy, looking at my photos going, oh, my photos don't look like that. Okay, then level it up. Put them in good lighting. get a light box if you need to. If you can't afford a light box, just get one 8-inch ring light. Start there. They're pretty
Yeah.
cheap. You can get them for 20 or 30 bucks off of Amazon, and they do really great. But I use a light box that's 20. It's like 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet by 3 feet, I think, if you measure it diagonally. And then I have two 10-inch ring lights that are literally illuminating this space right now that you're looking at, okay, that I also do to prevent any shadows in my lights. You guys ever notice that when you walk into the Apple store, it's white, it looks sophisticated, it looks expensive, and when you see the price, it's not surprising to you. Don't take pictures where it's dirty, dank, and dark, and you're going, I can't seem to wonder why my stuff sold for so very little. So that's like the side of just like how you display and present your stuff both visually and verbally. The other side of this is how do you manage your listing once you actually get it listed so that it sells? Because Chris, you know this, a lot of complaints within our group. I would say if there's any one top tier complaint, this is top 3 or maybe top 2, is, hey, I posted this and it's not selling. And people will look at Chris or look at me as though like we have the magic wand that can fix that, and we can't sell it for people.
Yeah.
So, Chris, I don't know.
Well, I would say one of the
go ahead.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things that I see is in Recelerator, right? One of the main thing that we teach people how to do is source a lot of items and get a lot of leads for people selling leads or selling items, right?
Yep.
So in doing that, since we've focused heavily on that for a long time, we didn't focus so heavily on the selling side of things because I figure, and this is my thought process and why we had to kind of redo it in Recelerator quite a bit about a year ago, was like we would teach people how to get so many leads and so many deals at great prices.
Yep.
But what kept happening was people would just bring it home and not list it, not get the invoice ready for the direct buyer, things like that. And it's one of those things where it just became apparent. I was like, okay, well, we fixed the first problem. Like they get leads, they talk to enough people every single day now. But I remember it specifically whenever one of our students, Sean, posted a photo of his living room, and he's like, "Look at all this stuff that I gotta list," and
True.
and I was like, "Bro, why haven't you been listing that like as you've been buying it, right?"
Yep.
Like, so one of the biggest issues I see is like, and I call this the buyer's high. This is why I list a lot of items at Starbucks, or why I did anyway. Now it comes home, and I built my light box, so I just kind of set the item in the light box, right? So it's there, and I see it every time I walk into the room, kind of thing. But I talk about the buyer's high a lot with the students now, and whenever you buy it, you get a rush of dopamine, right?
Yeah.
And like if it's like a phone or something, I still list those things at Starbucks. Starbucks has good lighting already, and they got a nice wooden background typically.
They do.
So
they do.
That's why I liked listing there, because I didn't have a light box. I have a lot of shadows and stuff in the house and things like that. But one of the biggest things we see is like people can't optimize their listing strategy very well after they figure out how to buy a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So my biggest thing is stay in the buyer's high. Like as soon as you buy it, list it.
Yep.
Or draft the invoice. At least draft it, right? That way it's easy and you don't have to type out the IMEI numbers and all of that stuff, right? You want to just do that stuff as fast as possible. There's been many instances, guys, where I've bought something, I've listed it at Starbucks, and it's sold by the time I got home. Like that's happened a lot. And that's how you can like keep your capital and everything moving as well. Fast, because what I see a lot of people do is go out, buy a bunch of stuff, come home, take a break, go to sleep, do whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I try to discourage our students from doing that. And I try to tell them like stay in the buyer's high while you're there, because the only way you're going to make the money is by selling it, right?
Sure.
Yeah, you may have made the money by purchasing it, but it's not there yet, right? It's basically an escrow, right? Like
Yeah, it's true.
it's there, but it's not there, right? Like, so I mean, that's one of the things I would say. Now, as far as listing goes, me and Matt are pretty much on par there. I really like, Matt, how you list out exactly everything that they're getting in the description. Like that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I don't do that. Basically, what I say is everything that's in the photos is everything that you're getting.
Yeah.
So I might double back on that and actually just go to here's every item you're getting, and list it out. You seem to be much more meticulous with your listing,
Yeah.
than I am. I think, I'm very brute force about it. Here's the
Sure.
description. I under promise and over deliver a lot.
Mhm.
However, I am moving more towards, the very professional side of the thing now,
Yeah.
with the light box and things like that. Now, I mean, seeing that your devices sell a little bit more, like higher priced,
Mhm.
is pretty motivating for that, So
Yeah. I mean, in your defense, phones do very well to sell themselves. Apple has done a lot of that work for us, and, guys, I gotta be dead honest, like, Chris sells more phones than I do, like, by a large margin, okay? And phones sell faster and better and more easily than anything. Part of my meticulation in the details is a consequence of having to part out and sell consoles for the last 5.5 years. And so, guys, if you're wanting to flip consoles like I do, which Chris also does, probably just not at the frequency that I might, but we both sell a lot of different electronics, and I do sell some phones from time to time. But the last phone I had listed, like, sold in 2 days, and it was easy. It was an easy sell. I still went through the same process because now I'm used to it. But, a lot of the, other items that don't sell themselves so easily, guys, I mean, I would say, "Hey, adapt accordingly, and if you need to borrow any of what I recently shared with you, then it'll really help you out." I would also say prepare yourself for, managing your store or your business on eBay and knowing how to effectively stay within the algorithm's favor as you learn to run a resale business. And the way in which you can most easily do that is to keep your items priced competitively throughout the entirety of its listing. Meaning, when you post an item, don't just let the price sit there and grow stale. eBay's going to forget about you. Your item is going to go somewhere into the nether realm where nobody knows it exists, and you're going to get pissed that you're not making any money because no one wants to buy your stuff. Well, you've got to, as I say, keep your hands on your store on a daily basis. And Chris, myself, and another coach within our group, Aaron Goldstein, all very consistently. It's an exciting time in the Schroeder house.
Oh,
Very
can you hear my kids in the background?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Dave, can you shut the door? I didn't know you could hear my kids on the microphone here.
It's
Yeah,
I don't know who's winning the sword fight, but somebody.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Um,
I wasn't aware that you guys could hear that. That's why I put the headphones and the microphone on.
Chris, your mic works incredibly well. What a great ad for that mic. That's amazing. So
all the way in the other rooms. Jeez.
Chris and I are both dads, guys. So if you're bothered by kids, you just got to show us love because our kids are awesome.
Yeah, if you guys are bothered by children in the background screaming and playing and things like that, this isn't the show for you.
It may not be. Yeah, but here's what I tell people to do. Here's what Chris and Aaron tell people to do. Right, just for starters, if it's not moving, keep your item priced competitively and price it down by $1 a day. Just price it down by $1 a day. Like that's not hard to do. And if you do it on your desktop rather than on your mobile, it's so much easier because you can pull up all of your listings and you can literally just click edit and you can edit the prices on like 30 items within a matter of like minute and a half. Seriously. If you want to do it on your mobile device and you don't have a laptop, then it kind of is what it is, but you're going to have to do each item individually, go into the item and back out of the item, into the item and back out of them. But you can bulk edit on your desktop or laptop, which is really awesome. Then if your item's still not selling, like just keep pricing it down consistently. What you really want to be aware of is what it's sold for at its highest and what it's sold for at its lowest. and price your stuff through that range. And when you get to the bottom, if you think, well, frick, people hate me, my stuff sucks, and no one wants to buy my stuff. I don't do that. Like, it's business. You're just trying to sell stuff, right? You got to sell it. It's how you make money. When it hits the bottom, move your price back up to the top. That's it. Cycle your price. We call it price cycling within the Recelerator family. Okay. So cycle the price of your products and watch the sales happen. Like, watch them happen. This stuff works. You don't believe me? Go try it. It works. Your stuff's stuck. You've been sitting on an item for like, I don't know, 3 months or whatever. Try price cycling. It works. Okay.
It does work. My rule is typically if it's over $300, I go, I subtract $5 a day.
Yeah.
If it's under $300, it's usually $1 a day. And then on Saturdays or Fridays or Saturdays, depending on how things are going, I usually send out 5% off offers.
Nice.
To the watchers.
Nice.
And the reason I like doing that is because it'll move some of those people to finally purchase, right?
Yeah.
And then usually that gives me a good amount of shipments to get out on Monday. And it just gets my cash flow back and things like that, right? So, like that's kind of the way I like to do things, is price everything down. I just use the bulk option to do that, just bulk, and then lower prices. And then sending out offers every Saturday works incredibly well.
Heck yeah.
So that's just something I do. Do you do anything like that, Matt?
So what I do is, if an item's not so similar to you, I will, if an item is about $250 or more, I'm going to usually price it down anywhere from $3 to $5 a day. If an item feels really stubborn, then I will price it down twice per day, in the morning and in the evening, whether it's $1 or, like, let's say something's like $500 and I really need a good big sale. I'll price it down by $3 in the morning and $3 in the evening. And I'll do that. And I'll usually see that item gone in a matter of 3 to 5 days.
Yeah.
And so you guys got to realize that the algorithm is going to show you preferential treatment when you keep your stuff competitively priced. Essentially what you're saying to eBay, by consistently pricing your stuff within the competitive margins we talked about, from the highest to the lowest sold price, right? It's like dragging a net across the ocean and catching fish. You might get some here, you might get some here, but you're going to get fish. And that's what you got to be comfortable with. Like, you may not get a grand slam, but you're going to get base hits. And so be happy when you get base hits, and then just keep repeating it, right? You don't want to reinvent the wheel here, but if you stop, you're not going to be making sales, and you guys can't afford to not make sales. That is the lifeblood of your business, is inventory and sales. So you got to be good at buying. You got to be good at selling. You can't afford not to be, or your business will dry up and die. So Chris and I are really adamant that people be equal parts aggressive in selling as they are buying, because when you get that buyer's high and that dopamine rush, and you're like, great, now I know how to assess the value. Now I know how to negotiate. Now I can close the deal. Now I've got a room full of stuff and less money. Great.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's fix that. Let's get really good at selling too. And there are two things I think that breathe probably the most life of sales into my eBay store. And Chris, you can maybe jump on this here in a second and confirm. But one, when I post a large batch number of items, let's say I post 5 to 10 items, at least 30% of those I'm probably going to see sell off in a matter of 24 to 48 hours. Okay.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Then, like, the rest of the stuff, I'm going to price cycle, and I'll see another 30% of that kind of trickle out in the next like 24 to 48 hours. And then the rest of it's probably going to be gone in a matter of about a week from the initial time that I listed it, if I'm steady with my price cycling. So posting new stuff and price cycling your stuff is really kind of the 1-2 punch that you want to keep going for your store, just to keep things moving. And if you guys are doing that, I would also suggest listing stuff on the weekend and listing stuff on Wednesdays going into the weekend. Like, have 2 days out of the week where it's like you're aggressively listing. So then you get that weekend sale, and then you get that kind of through the week sale. And you're always kind of hitting like a nice little peak within your sales cycle, and that ching ching on eBay is like the only motivation you'll probably need once that starts to hit and pop off enough.
Yeah.
So that's what I prefer to do. That's what I like to do. I think that's a really healthy rhythm. And if you're selling electronics, which sell faster than a lot of other crap people sell on eBay, like clothes,
I was talking
no,
with my
yeah, no
I was
disrespect
talking
to
with
the
my
clothes sellers, but go ahead.
for real. Yeah, I was talking to my neighbor yesterday or 3 days ago. He's like, "Yeah, dude, I have oh, what the heck did he say?" He's like, "I have like 260 listings right now on eBay," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, man, it's awesome." And I'm like,
Is it?
"You go for it, man! Like, that's amazing. I have 17."
That's literally how many I have. I had 23 last week. I sold 6 things, and on top of like coaching and like, helping with some support stuff in the group, I was tapped. I was like,
Yeah.
bro, and I think I did about $1,000, I think, last week in sales, and I was really happy with that because that's really manageable for me.
Yeah. No, for real. I think yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I see that stuff sometimes, and
Yeah.
like I can't even imagine like having that many items listed,
No
because
way.
to me that just, it seems like so much work
It's a
for
lot.
little. It's a little, and they're little tiny profits, right? Like,
Yes.
maybe, yeah, I don't want to be one of those people that goes around in Ross and places like that finding things to flip for, $15 in profit.
I hear
Like,
you.
that's not my ideal way of doing things. I like to go and I like to make, $80 to $100, 80 to 120 in profit per item.
Yep.
That's like, I'd prefer to do that instead of selling a whole bunch of little items.
Yeah.
But, that's my preference though. Like, I just don't do. I don't enjoy all the small tiny sales. So
Yeah, it's the same amount of work, guys, regardless of how much you're gonna make. Like, you're investing the same level of work. You might as well make larger margins when and where you can. And I think there are other items that sell for more, but, like, I don't know, how many shoes are you flipping? Or pairs of jeans or shirts or whatever, for 5, 10, $15 when you can maybe be selling stuff for 50, 75, $100 a piece.
Yeah.
And and it requires the same amount of effort, like, literally. And electronics are small too. Some like controllers, like, like this stuff, like this Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom console. Like, I can literally put that in like such a small box, and that's going to sell for about $250. I mean, come on.
There you go. I love it.
So, but be aware, guys, like, Chris kind of had me dig into this and really, throw down my best insight and best practices on this portion of, how to crush your sales on eBay. It works for anything. This is not exclusive to electronics,
True.
right? So if you're a flipper of other stuff and you're catching this soundbite or nugget here on the podcast, like, you're still going to make money. Like, it works because it works. And this is like 5 years of vetted effort here that is speaking to how to basically make the eBay algorithm love your listings more. But from the front side of this, if you're doing things to optimize your title, you have a good description, you have photos and a description that are consistent with one another, then you have your hands on your store on a regular basis and you're listing aggressively. I'd say, like, 2 good listings worth a week. Guys, if you're not absolutely like crushing like the slow salespeople out there, where you're like, eBay's slow again, eBay's not slow. Your method sucks. Change it, and watch the money come in. That's what I say to the eBay slow people. But if that's been you before, I would be shocked if you weren't absolutely killing the game after putting some of this into practice.
Well, I think, and that's the thing right there, though, is like putting it into practice. That's why, you see people dropping into the groups and like, is eBay slow, or are sales slow right now? And a lot of the times you could have just taken the same amount of energy that you put into that comment, went to your eBay store and lowered the amount of.
Fair.
By the way, one thing that I'll do consistently is, like, if something has a bunch of watchers on it, like, and it just not selling, I unlist it and relist it. And guess what happens? Sometimes it sells immediately.
Yeah.
Like
Dude.
it's literally simple. You know, Matt has a saying, the more that you touch your store, the better the sales are.
Mhm.
Like the more you log into eBay and mess around with your listings, and I don't think we have any definitive proof on like this, but like the more you interact with your store, typically the more sales you get. So
Yeah. Well, I think the way to say it, like, officially is eBay shows preferential treatment, or the algorithm seems to show love to proactive sellers. So, if you're proactive, let's say you're editing photos or updating a title or something like that. Like, I've done that stuff before, and, like, in an hour, the item sells, and I go, "What?" Like,
yeah,
do we literally know what caused it to happen? No, because the eBay algorithm, Cassini, has over 200 different touch points that influence what and how it sells. But what I got to tell you guys is this: price is probably one of the biggest factors. So if you're impacting price and keeping your prices competitive, you're going to see product move off the shelf.
awesome. Well, I think that was a pretty in-depth way of us like going into the online listings and things like that, and
Yeah,
showing people how that's done. You know,
yeah,
let us know what you guys think in the comments. We'd love to hear it. This is going to be on replay under the phone flipping show playlist on YouTube.
yep.
I hope you guys enjoyed it today. By the way, just so you guys are aware, let me pull up my thing here that I had. So appreciate you guys watching the Phone Flipping Show. Make sure to also check out our podcast, the Smart Flip. We do that every single Friday. Around we record it around 11. It usually gets posted the same day. But people have been telling us they love the podcast the most by far. So definitely check that out. People listen to it while they're picking up deals, when they're cooking their food and things like that, all sorts of stuff. Where
Right
it's
on.
funny enough, where a lot of our students found us and listened to us for a long time. We're up to 51 episodes now, so definitely recommend checking that out. But if you do want a more in-depth version of like what we're talking about here, I would definitely look into grabbing the Recelerator and Console Kings bundle.
Mhm.
It's at an amazing price right now. So let me go to it, show it off. There we go. Can we see that? There
Yes,
we
we
go.
can.
So here's what you guys get with that. This is the Console Kings and Recelerator combo deal. You get a 6-month trial of Resell Hawk. You get a 6-month trial of Resell Deck. You get the starter kit program, which is made for beginner level resellers. You get our Recelerator curriculum, which is the highest course that we have at the moment. You get Console Kings, which is Matt's course. You
Woo!
get Pawn Shop Profits, which is another one of my courses. It's intended to teach you how to buy and flip items from pawn shops. You get 6 months access to our Recelerator Slack community, the Slack community I started off in the beginning talking to you guys with. And then you also get a Kickstart call with me. On that Kickstart call, I will help you download Resell Hawk and implement it immediately, helping you send out your first 20 messages. I did this with somebody yesterday that actually bought this. And then we got into 3 negotiations right there. And I think he actually picked up one of the deals yesterday. So
Nice. Very nice.
if that's something you're interested in, definitely look into it. This Console Kings and Recelerator combo deal is either it's $997 in full, 3 payments of $350, or 6 payments of $200. So it's priced very aggressively here. It's meant to help you guys get started, create more resellers in the space, and that's what we do. So
Yes, sir.
with that being said, that is another. Oh, and if you guys want extra help, you can message me directly for the Recelerator Mentorship and Ads Management Program. That program is now $5,000, just so you guys are aware. We did increase it just because we've added a whole bunch of AI stuff. We do all of your ads management for 6 months, and honestly, it's needed to go up for a while just due to the level of stuff that we provide. But with that being said, guys, that is another episode of the Phone Flipping Show. To make sure to check us out on the Smart Flip as well. You can also find the Smart Flip on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and then YouTube, of course. So
Right
with that
on.
being said, guys, you guys have a great day, and we got to go or Matt has to go teach a console call now. So
That is true. All right. See you
later.
guys.